What's going on, nerds? I'm Wes with Neverboard Gaming, and today we are taking a look at Draconis 8, which is coming to Kickstarter from Wise Wizard Games. Now, before we get started, I want to start with a disclaimer that this is a prototype version of the game, so some of the rules may change, component qualities aren't finalized, terminology is still subject to change, there might be different changes in the artwork. I don't even have a box yet, so we don't know what that looks like. But I did get to play enough of the game to get a feel for it and to tell you guys why you should be excited about it. Now, to break this game down, we're going to take the onion approach.
Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. You get it.
So starting at the most basic level, this is a 1v1 tactical tile laying game where each person takes turns laying tiles down, trying to score points by beating the other tiles on the board. So at the start of every round, each player is going to draw up till they have 2 cards in their hand. They will select one of those cards to play down. The 2 players will compare the initiative or the speed on those 2 cards. Whoever is higher gets to place their card first, but they also get one of these golden points, which are very important and have swung plenty of games for us. So when you place your card down, you can rotate it in any orientation you want. You'll notice that there are 4 numbers on the 4 sides of the card. So when you place it next to a card, you compare the 2 numbers on them, and whichever number is higher wins that battle and they get a point. And you will note that by placing one of your point tokens on the card. Now, as the cards all have numbers on 4 sides, it's possible that there will be multiple battles going on, and you will check for a winner in each one of those engagements and score points accordingly. Now, the game starts with one of the trees in the middle of the board, and the tree isn't scoring points, but it does give you a place to start placing your cards down, and also some opportunities for some bonus points. And you can grow your board in whatever direction you want off that starting point, but you are limited to a 4x4 grid at the end of the game, so depending on where the battles kind of move will set your final board state. So the game continues until everyone has played their cards, and then you count to see who has the most point tokens, both from winning the speed check at the beginning of each turn, as well as the points on the board. And whoever has the most points is the winner. And now to dive into the next layer of the game, the thing that really makes it a fun, tactical game is the fact that most of these cards have special abilities on them.
Sometimes you get a knock on the head, you get special powers. It happens all the time.
And the abilities let you manipulate the board state as you play that card down, or give you defense against other abilities and other attacks. So there's some abilities like Stomp that lets you play on top of another card and move that card to the side to place yours down. There's cards that let you rotate both yours or your opponent's cards. There's cards that score you bonus points for playing against certain numbers. There are cards that let you score based on diagonal adjacency, not just orthogonal. There are cards that just are giant walls and block your opponent's abilities. So a lot of fun abilities, a lot of crazy stuff going on to let you really manipulate the board state and try to create an opportunity for you to score the most points. And it is important to note that as that board state is changing, the battles happening, like those points shift too. So if I played a card here and it's a 10 against a 5, so as the red player, I am scoring a point, and then someone plays a card that causes this card to rotate, well, now it's a 2 against a 5, and I am no longer winning that battle, so I lose that point. But that could create a different battle where maybe I am winning now, or maybe I have a card that can rotate it back, or maybe I move that card around. So all kinds of different manipulations and abilities to really help you develop the board state. So for the next layer, I think we should kind of break down what is in each of these decks. So every single deck in Draconis 8 is unique. And now the slight caveat, I don't know if with the base game, all of those decks will be identical in every single base game, or if they're randomizing them. That information should be in the Kickstarter. You can check there. But within the deck, there are 3 different types of cards. There's your terrain card, which is the tree that you begin each game off of. There is your dragon, which is a very powerful, unique card in your deck. And then there are your champions, which are the other cards you'll play out. So to start off the game, each player is going to grab a deck. You're going to determine whose terrain you are going to use, and you can pick either one. You can determine that however you want. And then you're going to shuffle up the dragons and the champions, and then start by drawing 2 cards and playing the game on the terrain you picked. Now, it's really cool because every single card in here is completely unique. You're not going to see duplicates of the card. Now, you might see some artwork duplicated across different decks, but the actual abilities and the numbers on the cards are going to be unique. And they have an algorithm that they're using to generate and balance those cards. So everything kind of has a cost. So a higher speed may have lower attack values, or a really powerful ability may have a weaker attacks, or a weaker ability may have stronger attacks, or a lower speed card may have a really good ability and good attacks. So they did a really good job balancing. You know, you're going to have cards that are better in certain situations, but you shouldn't end up with just, well, this deck is super overpowered, because there's a whole system of points and costs going into making each card in that deck, and I believe each deck as well. And now the last real layer I want to talk about here is the fact that although the base game is just a your pack versus my pack 1v1 battle, there's a lot of different ways you can mix it up. There's a variant for a 3-player game. There's a variant for a 4-player game. The 4-player could be 2v2. It can be 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. There's also draft mechanics built into this game. So you can do a sealed draft where you each grab a pack, you open it, and you draft out those cards, which I have not had the opportunity to play with, but that sounds really fun if you've really played your cards to death and you want to really mix it up and play new games and new versions. But all of the cards do have ID numbers on them, so you can rebuild those original balanced decks if you want to. And then last, there is an app accompanying this game as well. So in the app, you can just play it like any other app card game, but you can also scan the QR code on the back of the terrain card from each deck, and then you will have that deck in the app. So as you are going out and getting new decks for this game, or you're buying booster boxes, or however they're packaging additional decks for this game, you can scan those into your app to have those in the digital game as well. And I will say that this app has become easily my new favorite. Like, I've got 5 minutes to kill while I'm sitting there, or I'm going to the bathroom and I want to play on my phone for a little bit. This is the game I've been gravitating towards because it's really quick. I think the player versus player game is like 10 to 15 minutes. In the app, it's like 5 minutes because you don't really have an opponent you're playing against. There's no cleanup, so it just kind of moves along faster. I have been incredibly happy with this game. I've played it a ton, both physically and digitally. And if you are looking for a new card, TCG, tile laying, tactical, if any of those buzzwords sound good to you, there will be a link to the Kickstarter campaign in the description down below. Just below that link will be a link to Game Toppers. That is the tabletop that I am filming on right now. We absolutely love our Game Toppers. We love all the mats that come with them, the accessories. They really do just take your gaming experience to the next level. Either way, guys, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored, and we'll catch you in the next one. So the tree is... I should probably check it and see what that card is called. Terrain Dragons Champions.